大家好，我是刘荣图律师，我是加州共和党第49选区众议院议员的候选人。我是一个坚定的美国传统价值观和川普的支持者。我的竞选理念是：一、公共安全，打击犯罪；二、教育公平，不分肤色，一份成绩一份学校；三、反对洗脑，捍卫传统。请投我一票。Hi everybody, my name is David Liu. I'm the Republican candidate for the 49th Assembly District. Here with me, we have two special guests. First, gentleman on my left is Noah. Noah is an Arcadia High School graduate. Right now, he goes to UCLA. He's about to graduate. On my right, and we have Sunny. Sunny actually is an incoming junior at Arcadia High School. So today we'll be talking about this new law the governor just signed, AB 1955, especially their personal experience with AB 1955 or similar laws and how it has impacted them and their school friends, which obviously I think is to a large extent representative of pretty much all high school students in the district and even in the state.
Yeah, so first, thank you so much for Attorney Liu to invite me over here and try to, talk about the issue over here. And as for me, I was an incoming freshman at Arcadia High School back in 2017. And back then, in my experience, I grew up in the Arcadia community. I went to Community Grove Elementary School, I went to First Ave Middle School, and then I went on to Arcadia High School. And being at a public high school gained me the knowledge of knowing that education is super important. We wanted to feel blessed, the fact that my parents immigrated to the United States and then was able to let me and my sister attend the public system, and then knowing that, education was super important now because it's became a blessing. They weren't able to receive this kind of education back then. And knowing this because of this, that while attending Arcadia High School, there's just a lot of numerous problems that I could myself face. It's that Arcadia High School itself is a very competitive high school, and all these students are thinking that I'm just going to be like everybody else. And then they won't talk to their parents. This seems like, okay, I face a problem. And a lot of things that I've heard and from my friends or whatever, maybe they have problems dealing with academics or even per se that their gender identity or their sexual orientation. And then they're like, I'm not going to tell my parents. There's no point. If I tell my parents are going to disown me as a child, which sounds crazy, right? I don't think that growing up in my family, I was raised very traditionally. I was raised with the right mindset, knowing that I grow up to be who I become. If there's any problems, I talk to my parents. But they seem so distant from their family. And then I immediately got into a thought process knowing that, wait, this might be wrong. There's no way, because my parents have been growing up telling me that if there's any problems that I face, I should be very open to talk to my parents about it. And it seems like all my peers, I'm going to say literally the majority, 80-90%, they seem so distant. They're complaining about their parents. They're like, oh, I don't want to talk to my parents. I hate my parents, which sounds crazy to me. I would never believe that. So, and today, now that I think Attorney Liu also got the chance to invite Sunny, a current Arcadia High School student, to be able to talk, what's it like? It's been 7 years. It's 2014 now, and it's been 2017. And I want to know, what's it like for you now?
Well, first of all, I would like to thank Attorney Liu for inviting me onto the show. And similarly to Noah, I've been raised in a very traditional family. And now with this new act passed, there has been lots of issues that has been caused by it. So, for example, as you mentioned before, you talked about how even then before the passing of this law, parents had to rely on their children on telling them what's going on in school and whatnot. And now with this law, it adds even more constraints to the already limited communication between the school and the parents. And I think that's cause to worry for.
Yeah, I think what's really bad or crazy about this new law is that this new law is based on the assumption that you cannot trust your own parents. Not only that, they are your adversaries, they are your enemies, right? They are out to get you. They are out to hurt you, right? They've raised you, they're still raising you, right? They work so hard, they probably have to get a second job, they have to drive an Uber or something, depending on the family, you know? For what? For you. Nobody else but you, right? Especially, I think, for Chinese parents. I always say, Chinese parents, we are the best parents. You know why? Because if you, as a Chinese person or a traditional Chinese person, you want to buy a house, the first thing you look at is not how far it is to the beach. It's not like how big the house is how good the school district is or how bad the school district is. You know why? Because a good school district will give better opportunities or more opportunities to your children, right? So Chinese parents always put their children first.
Yeah,
right?
I think growing up in the Arcadia community, and I got the sense of that, knowing that, wow, Arcadia really is a resourceful place. It has so much to offer. But then the fact that this bill this act is passed just seems kind of crazy to me, because knowing the fact that, growing up in a traditional family, and I have the value of like, okay, yeah, exactly what you said. It's not about how big the house or whatever, but it's about producing and doing everything for the next generation. Traditionally we would want a family, to grow up, girl or boy, they get married, they have their kids, and then we move on, we pass on their generation. We put all of our education, we put them into higher education. That's the whole point. That's what makes humanity progress. That's tradition. This is human tradition. And the fact that this could bring so much attention is that it seems that it wants to break the tradition. It's believing that, okay, maybe that we shouldn't do whatever for that. We should be doing whatever that's best in the children's end. And I think that this is actually not in the children's favor, because it's kind of indoctrinating, knowing that the school cares about you more than your parents does. Which sounds crazy, because I myself, as an example, my parents have worked so hard to come to the United States, and they've done everything possible for me and my sister to receive the best education in the school district. I mean, Arcadia is well known to be one of the best and top 1% in the nation, to be exact. And the fact that, knowing that if I'm doing this, and then knowing that, like, okay, the school district is going to love you more than your parents do, sounds crazy. Like, I don't know why they were trying, because it sounds like they're trying to break families apart. You know what I mean? Because the families unite through a child.
Well, so I could not agree with Noah more. So what's going on though is that, as Noah is saying, the school basically takes that position. The school actually not only knows the students, better, they care more about the students. How can that be true? First of all, to be very frank, like it is say class of 30 people. A lot of times the school, the teachers, they don't know who is who, to be frank, right? Seriously, and they're saying, you know what, we care more about you than your own parents. They don't even know you, right? And the second, even they do know you, how can that be true? Say you're hungry, your parents will feed you. You need new shoes, your parents will get new shoes for you. Can you go to the school, hey, I would like some new shoes, like, who are you again? Are you sure you go to school here? Are you sure, like, you're our student, right? No, I'm serious,
yeah.
Right? But right now they're saying, no, we care about you. We are actually your new parents.
Yes.
Right now, basically, it's kind of like
yes.
Orange is the new black, like a school is the new parents.
Yes.
Like, I gotta be kidding me.
Yes.
Orange may be the new black, but school and no parents. Right?
I mean,
you see what I'm saying, right?
Let me ask Sunny like this. I mean, like,
Yeah.
your jacket, your bow, and your shirt inside.
Yeah.
What? Go ask your school teacher and be like, could you please buy me another of the same exact thing? And let's say this thing cost $2,000 total.
Yeah.
Do you think that's what this is doing. It's saying that your teachers will care about your emotions and your well-being and your life life especially more than your parents do. I mean, who bought these for you?
I mean, obviously my parents did. I mean, like, I'm not saying it's wrong for them to charge money, but it's wrong for them to say that, it's them that's, caring more for us than our parents. Because, I mean, like, for clothing, for example, like, I go to orchestra, and, even the dress uniforms that they have, you have to pay for it yourself. I mean, the school's not giving it to you for free,
Yeah.
You see, it seems that a problem that, like, you see in public universities that, okay, I have this school uniform. We all have to follow this certain dress code for the thing, which completely makes sense. I understand. But, I thought that you care about the students more than the parents do, and you're making the parents pay for whatever this is possible. It just sounds like, okay, I mean, you really care about it. Why don't you just help the kids, I mean, I never seen the fact that, like, okay, this is what they're going to be like. I care about your emotions. Let's talk about it. You say, oh, honey, maybe you should go talk to your parents about it. That's what they're going to say. In my point of view, most of the times, if you're facing a certain difficulty, you talk to your teachers will most likely be like, you should probably talk to your parents about this. I could call your parents for you. I could talk to your parents for you. And it all ends up to one thing, your parents. What does your parents lead to you? You. And what do you lead to? The family.
Yeah. Seems like the law actually is designed to create the conflict between the students and their parents. Basically saying that your parents cannot be trusted. They are your enemies. You should trust us, although we don't really know who you are, right? And what's more important, though, is that right now, it seems like, at least in California, all these new laws and policies and the culture basically is indoctrinating the kids in a way that, like, being gay is cool, being a trans is cool, I mean, obviously, being gay is not bad. You are gay, you are gay. But what I'm saying, though, is that right now, they're trying to sort of like instill this notion in your head. Like, if you are not gay, if you are not trans, something is wrong with you. You need to figure it out. I always have trouble understanding that. They always say, well, you're figuring out who you are. Like, what you figure out. You're a boy, you're a boy.
Sure.
Right? You're a girl, you're a girl. Like, what you figure out. Like, it's kind of like, I'm a Chinese person. Someone says to me, David, you sure you're not black? You sure you don't want to figure it out? I said, man, what to figure out? I've never been to Africa. Like, are you sure? How would you know? Maybe you went. You were 2 years old. You just didn't know. You said maybe you were freaking from Africa. You were adopted by Chinese parents. Like, how would you know? Right? You see what I'm saying? They basically confuse the shit out of you. Right? You see what I'm saying? You're already confused. You'll be like, maybe you're right. You see what I'm saying?
You know what's
right?
You know what's the next level of indoctrination?
Yeah.
Think of it from this perspective. I don't know if Sunny is going through this, but even no matter going to where, there's always whatever school, they also have all these kind of things. It's like the LGBTQ support center. So it puts into this perspective. You're basically telling students that who are LGBTQ, who are gay or whatever, which I fully respect for them because we all have equal rights. But then you're basically just saying that if they're gay, then they need help. You're saying that, okay, you were gay, then come to the support and talk to us. Why would they assume that just because they're gay and that they will receive extra help? So doesn't this put into like children's brains thinking that, oh, maybe I should be gay. If I be gay, I'm considered a minority. Then I could go receive some help. Why would they assume that? Because I think that that's very disrespectful to the LGBT community and assuming that they need help and they are the minority. But they're gay, they're gay.
The assumption is that they're fragile.
Yeah.
They're weak.
Yeah.
Right? But that's assumption. That's why you need extra help, extra benefits. Yeah. Right? It's the same thing like you go to a restaurant. You'll be like, oh, David, you're Chinese. Tell what? The steak is $50. For you, we'll do 40. I said, why? Well, because you're Chinese. Probably we just want to help you out. How does that make you feel? How would that make you feel? You will not feel, oh, you know what? They give me a discount. You'll be like, man, I just want to pay as everybody else. It's $50, it's $50. It's like, I was younger. I was your age. I always go to the Air Fitness, to play basketball. There's always like a pickup teams, right? So, but as a Chinese person or Asian person, you're generally speaking, not that popular. At least not as popular as black dudes, right? They always get picked. So what happens if they say, look, you know what, David, you are Chinese. You know what? that's fine. You know what? We will, basically, if we play a game, right? You know, tell what. So we will sort of, whatever. We just sort of we will give an tell what? We'll give additional, say, 10 points. If you can beat me by 10 points, you win. How would that make you feel?
Bad. I mean, I think that first of all, me as a normal person growing up, if it's just because the way I was born, whether if it's my race, my sexual orientation, or my career goals, like, you're gonna judge me because of that, it's insane. I would feel extremely discriminated. Like, thinking about this, I mean, you right now as a successful lawyer, you're making it to the career, you're trying to keep going, you're gonna keep fighting to become at the next level. And I think for me, as someone, as a teenager who's still growing, just because of my race, just because I'm Chinese, then somehow I have to beat you by 10 points and I'm considered to win. Or just because I'm gay, then I have to, I will receive extra support because I'm fragile. Or just because that I want to be an aspiring or lawyer like you, then I will receive even more help. That makes no sense. Just because that I'm Chinese, because I was born Chinese, and I'm very blessed that I think that I'm Chinese. And just because that I'm straight, I don't feel that I have any more special rights than any person who aren't straight. But that doesn't give me any special rights because they're all normal humans. We all have equal rights and no special rights included. And just because that I want to be a lawyer, a future attorney like Attorney David Luke,
Go ahead.
you know,
Yeah.
it's like, because of that, I don't want to feel that just because I am something that I was born with, and I feel that I'm discriminated by this because, you know, what if you were born like me? Think of it from this perspective. You're gonna discriminate me?
I think that, you know, them making these assumptions really makes, you know, I mean, I'm not saying that, you know, diversity is bad in any way, but I'm saying that, you know, people should really look at, you know, a person's talents instead of just saying, oh, since this person is gay or etc. Maybe we should give this person an advantage because, you know, we're going to make these assumptions that, you know, this person cannot do as well as a normal person does. And, you know, that's, I mean, on occasion, you know, there are, how should I say this? On occasion, there are gay people that are, you know, that might do better in certain things than like, you know, a straight person would. Like, you can't just like decide to void all of the, you know, void looking at all of their, you know, their skills and whatnot and just hire.
Yeah, so, no, I guess that's the idea, right? For instance, say you are dating a white girl, right? But the white girl goes, you know what, Noah? Usually, you know, the guys that did it, the white dudes that did it, they always come in and pick me up. But considering you're Chinese, right? You're saying you're blessed. If you're blessed, you're Chinese. I'm going to pick you up. So you don't have to pick me up. You go, why? You'll be like, oh, well, I don't know, like a Chinese can drive. How would that make you feel? Like I should be good. You see what I'm saying, right?
Terrible.
You'll be like a man. So because I'm Chinese, I'm a less of a man.
Yeah.
I can go pick you up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah, right.
I don't know why, first of all, there's racial discrimination, and especially that knowing my age, when it's time to apply for internships, jobs, and looking what you do as a career. I mean, you, Sunny, right now as a high school student, that, you know, in job market, when you're applying, no matter to whichever company, first and foremost, your age, your date of birth, and then it comes your race. They ask for your ethnicity. And you have to select specifically which ethnicity, and you have to select whether you are a Latino or you're not. Like, explicitly saying that, oh, are you Hispanic or Latino? I mean, you have to press either yes or no.
Yeah. So here's the thing, though. So by giving sort of special benefits or like a special recognition to a certain community, say whether it's like a Chinese Americans, you know, right, versus say Anglo-Americans, or to say gay people versus, you know, homosexual people. So actually, you are not helping them. Basically, you are saying the reason I'm giving you this extra benefits or help because you are weak, you are fragile, you are not as smart. Basically, that's what you're saying. You know, that I think anybody with self-respect in that community would say, no, I don't need that. Because, for instance, say that if you got into Harvard, right? You got into Harvard and partially because, say, you're gay. But I know you're not, but I'm just saying, right? So a lot of times you never know. Say that if you were not gay, probably you still would have got into Harvard too. But say that later you got a job, you apply for a job. Say you're applying for a job, you're from Harvard, you're also applying for a job, you're also from Harvard, right? You guys, aside from the fact that you're gay, you're not, you guys have the same exact qualifications. Who I'm going to pick? I'm going to pick you, not you. You know why? I would never know if you got into Harvard based on your own merits. Or maybe a little bit of it was because you're gay. But there's no way I can find that out, nor do I want to. There's no point. I'm not. Why do I want to take that risk? I'm going to go with you. I know you got into Harvard truly 100% based on your own merits. Correct?
Yeah.
So basically, that policy really screwed you over. You can't tell people, go around and say, you know what, hey, David, you know what, but I want to let you know, I got into Harvard. But if I were not gay, I still would have got into Harvard. My question would be like, how would you know? You wouldn't. You see what I'm saying? You could be smarter than you. But how would you? How would I know?
I know.
Nobody's gonna know. You basically, by seemingly having that sort of like a more favorable policy toward gay community, you actually screw over that entire community.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah,
right?
That's correct. Because think about it this way: is that people would just be indoctrinated with the thought that like, oh, you got into Harvard because you're gay, and then this person, let's say Sonny that is not gay and he got into Harvard, then I'll be like, oh, okay, you know what? They're just going to disregard every single talent in America that I have, all these crazy traits that I have. That's what probably got me to Harvard, but I have no way to prove that.
Yeah.
And they're going to pick him, not over me, because the fact that they think that like, oh, just because I'm gay and I got to Harvard and thinking that I don't belong as a Harvard student, it's crazy to think about it that way. Because think about it this way, Sonny. You're gay, you got into Princeton, not even Harvard now, and then let's say that you actually won a Nobel Prize, in high school. And I got into Princeton too, but then I probably just have some other traits, but you're gay. They're not even going to care that you won the Nobel Prize, first of all. First of all, they just say, oh, you're gay, oh, you got into Princeton. Princeton cares about diversity. And then, every school cares about diversity, first of all. It's not about Princeton. This has nothing to do with it. It's the fact that people look down on you and that they will disregard every single talent, every single achievement you have, just because you're gay, and they suddenly think like, okay, you got into Princeton because you're gay.
As he said before, that they will not care for your merits just because this thing with diversity and this act being passed. So like, it really limits the amount of actual people with talent that can help society as a whole progress further.
Yeah, so laws like that, actually AB 1955, it not only it creates that conflict between students and their parents, right? Which I think is super evil, and also it actually creates conflicts between gay community and also outside the world. Basically, the law is saying that if you're gay, you have special rights. But if you're not, you don't. Like people who are not gay be like, why? Why should I not be getting the same treatment or rights as gay people? So actually, it's bad to everybody, not just to people who are not gay, but also to gay people as well. So basically, it says that you guys are, they are different, but they're different, but they should be equal, right? But what the law is doing, or similar laws or policies are doing, is that you just really puts up walls, not only between students and their parents, or also fundamentally. So it basically teaches students that lying is allowed, because the law says that if a parent asks a school teacher saying, "Oh, is my son gay?" the teacher knows their son is gay. But by that law, by AB 1955, the teacher has to lie to your dad, say, you know what, he's not, with a straight face. So basically, the law is saying that lying is okay. Lying not only is okay, it's encouraged. So that's a value the school is teaching the students now. Lie.
So people are just basically thinking that, okay, the people who are heterosexual think that, okay, so I guess I have to lie, saying that I am homosexual. Maybe that's when I get these special rights, because, you know, clearly they have more special rights than us. I thought every human had equal rights, regardless of your race or sexual orientation. And maybe now, in order for me to get this job, get this offer of school or for a job, I have to say that I'm homosexual. Then I know that for a fact I'll get accepted. You know, this is what it's saying. It's like basically encouraging people to like that. Okay, let me become gay. Because I'm gay, then I can get whatever things that I want.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a saying, like a fake it till you make it. It's like seems like that also applies in this situation. You have to fake being gay at some point. Maybe you, with the hope, seems like the laws and the policies are designed to do, is to first make you lie about being gay. At some point, you know, those lawmakers are hoping you will actually become gay, right? You see what I'm saying? Otherwise, it's kind of, you were right. Because you can say, you know what, it seems just by saying you are gay or you are not, you can get all special rights. Why not?
I mean, first of all, you know that like they care about diversity. I think diversity is a good thing. But the fact that they want to make everybody gay, why would that be diversity? Because if everybody was gay, then there would be no diversity. You know?
I think the issue is that they're putting diversity over actual, you know, merit. So they think that inclusion is to just you know, literally throw everybody into one single area, regardless of what they're able and aren't able to do. So, you know, they will, you know, with such a system, it's bound to ignore, you know, actual important factors of like factors to whether or not a person is good or bad at doing something. Like, well, as discussed before, like the government wants to say, oh, we should give these the gay people like, you know, special rights, and then the people that you know are hiring, you know, like private businesses, they look at that and they're like, oh, since they're hiring because of this new law with diversity, then this obviously means that to them the statistic for you know, people in the gay community that are hired not based on merit is going to be, you know, they think it's significantly larger than those that were actually hired based on merit. So they will make these assumptions that will yeah, like as he said before, basically screws everyone over.
Yes. Also, this I think is being diverse. I mean, the idea I think is overrated. You know why? Once Chris Rock, he said his friend, you know, tells him, his friend says, you know what? Hey, Chris, you know, I work at AT&T, right? I sell cell phones. You know what? Like the place I work at, we're very diverse. Chris Rock goes, man, you went to jail for 10 years for second-degree murder. Now you care about your workplace is diverse? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like, who gives a shit? So you think about the whole notion is so stupid. It's laughable, man. Right? So that's why this whole stupidity actually caught on. Like everybody, like, you know what? Every workplace, at least we should have a woman. We should have a gay. At least a black dude. Otherwise, we're not diverse. It's kind of like we're not normal. We have to have. Yeah, right? So, man, this idea is so stupid. You think about
I know. Just because I have this person, well, I think this person is considered as a minority.
Yeah.
Well, if I have that, then I have a diverse workplace.
Yeah. Right?
That's stupid. I mean, like, okay, like what you said, I have to have a woman, which is already extremely sexist.
Yeah.
And then I said I have to have a black person in my workplace, extremely racist.
Yeah.
And then I have to have someone who's gay, extremely discrimination of sexual orientation based upon human, which I think it's already showing that this person probably has zero moral decency. You know what I mean? Like, this is crazy.
You know, the actually the you know, the place where actually there's no diversity is NBA. You know why? Because they are all tall, black, young, and fast. You know what will give them diversity?
What?
Making me part of the team. You know what? I'm short, slow, Asian. I can barely walk. Right? So that's why they should hire me. They should recruit me. I should be the captain.
Yeah.
You know, right?
They should probably reverse.
Yeah, right. What I'm saying.
They should probably reconsider their 2025 draft #1 pick.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Although I cannot play ball for shit, but you know, that precise the reason they should recruit me, so they will have diversity, right?
To include diversity to the National Basketball Association.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. Think about it.
Yeah,
He
right.
will be a great addition to the diversity team.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So I think nowadays, I mean, whether it's private high school, private college, public high school, or public universities, that, you know, this diversity, like, you know what? This year, I'm going to take this set amount of people who are gay. I'm going to take this set amount of people who are not Asian, or this set amount of people with this family background. And that's crazy because, you know, they will look at, okay, this family's income is this. I'm probably going to not take him. This family's income is this. This is how many people I will take of this income. That's discrimination of the student's individual ability and being judged the fact that your family income, your sexual and race sexual orientation, you know, that what other does that consider other than discrimination upon an individual? You know, I mean, you, Sunny, especially me as an alumni for Arcadia High School, you're gonna apply to colleges. You're gonna go through all this. What makes you think, and what do you think your anticipation is, knowing that this is what you're gonna have to face? So yeah, Sunny, like for instance, last time when Attorney David Liu invited me to a show with my fellow UCLA classmate, Arnold, who was also an Arcadia alumni, explicitly said, he admitted that, well, he realized that being LGBTQ was that he thought that he might have special rights. In some certain college application or in certain like job application, he explicitly thought, oh, okay, I had the intention. Well, he didn't do it, but like he said, I had the intention of thinking like, oh, maybe I should just put myself as an LGBTQ because I realized that if I were to do it, my chances would be significantly higher. It's not that, oh, okay, it might make me a little bit better, you know what I mean? Such as like, oh, if you're applying early decision, you know, you might get a little bit benefit, you know, you might have a higher chance of acceptance rate. But then he emphasized on the significant difference. Well, you guys could refer to that video because
I think doing that's sort of shooting yourself in the foot, you know, because it's bound to come back and, you know, bite you. Because, you know, as I said before, you know, there's many businesses that are privately owned, and obviously and everyone knows about, you know, these said laws and etc. I mean, if they realize that, you know, you were, you know, say that you're gay, and then they see that that's on your resume there or something, they automatically would jump to a conclusion thinking that, you know, as I said before, you didn't get into the school based on your merits, but it was because of a, you know, diversity. So,
you know, I have something to add on to the diversity. Now I think about this. Back in my years when I was an Arcadia High School student, I recall this something that is very alarming. I would recall at least once a week, probably even more often than that, I would hear reports of saying that the fire alarm went off. And most of the time, the reason could be that, oh, someone was smoking in the bathroom, vaping, smoking weed. Well, first of all, I don't understand why would any high school students below age 18, not even 21, have any access to all of these. Like, that's crazy. And knowing that we are having fire drills for 2 hours and disrupting our entire education. Like, thinking about that, well, this is diversity, having people at your school, kids, teenagers, illegal to use drugs and alcohol of any kind to be triggering the school fire alarm and getting the entire school to stop with all forms of education and getting together out on the field for a potential fire danger. So what's it like for you? I mean, from my years at Arcadia High School, this is an ongoing problem for all 4 years there.
I mean, I once had a teacher, and well, the fire alarm went off, and then he he cracked the joke. He's saying that of all his years teaching, none of the fire alarms that went off were actually real. It was always some kid that was smoking. So I was like, well, I mean, I just thought that this might be a temporary issue, maybe this year's students, maybe there's just more people using these, drugs and whatnot. But, now there's like a teacher saying that, now it's really become an issue. Now even with him, a former student, and now he's saying that it was an issue back then. So I'm pretty sure this is going to keep going until, someone does something about it.
So you see, attorney, from 2017 up until this year, let me make sure, 2024, 7 years and counting. This has been an ongoing problem for the 7th year. Like, why is this happening? Like, why are kids knowing that drugs are bad for them, and they'll be like, okay, I'm happy, temporary happiness, and that's what all they care about? Don't you feel like those fire drills are very disrupting to you? Like, your parents and yourself are sent to Arcadia High School for a very good education, and for 2 hours you have to sit outside on the field knowing that fire drill wasn't even real. What does it feel like for you?
Well, it's certainly disruptive. It's subversive. It doesn't, like, there's nothing good that you can get out of it other than that you can, I don't know, you get some fresh air. Like, what's that? You're not there for fresh air. You can go outside in your yard when you get home. Like, you're in school because you want education. Your parents entrusted the school that you would receive education, based on the schedule that they provided. Like, I mean, obviously you do get like breaks, like lunch, and passing period. But like, we shouldn't have to cut into class time because some person decides to I'm going to have going to smoke in the restroom just so that I can relieve my stress temporarily. It's just not it's not really fair for the majority of people trying to get education.
Yeah, I understand. So, attorney, like, you hearing these problems as someone who's an Arcadia High School alumni and as someone who's a current Arcadia High School student facing these problems together, what are your thoughts to this?
Well, I think the cause or the causes for these problems actually are laws and policies, are bad laws and bad policies, right? So basically, a lot of times, I think the kids' lives actually, they have to deal with the school. They obviously, growing up, you always have issues. That's part of growing up, right? It's actually kids' lives. They are as sort of stressful and as confusing as they are already. So basically, all those laws and policies, what they do is just they amplify that. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, they tell you to figure out, like, Sonny, you sure you're actually a boy? You see what I'm saying? You'll be like, man, what are you talking about? Right?
I'd like to also add on to that.
Yeah.
Like this law, like saying that, your parents, the school is not obligated to tell your parents of about the student. That sort of removes the factor of, removes the consequence factor from, someone doing something wrong. So, like, obviously, I think the majority of people believe that, vaping, smoking, etc. is bad for your health. And it's obviously something that, the majority of parents don't want their kids doing. But then now the school is saying that, we will cover for you and we won't tell your parents. So that you can do whatever you'd like and you won't get in trouble. So it removes that factor, and now the students, knowing that they will not receive any consequences from the school, and the school will even cover for them, then it's almost like an encouragement of them to, like, just do whatever you'd like.
Yes. So the school actually has if that's a case, that is a case, the school actually has become in a way like an accomplice of whatever your wrongdoings are. You see what I'm saying? Because with that, you'll be like, you know what? The school is sort of covering it up for me. I don't have to worry about it. I can smoke all I want. I can drink all I want.
Yeah.
I can do other crazy things or things that I should not be doing. Because the school has got my back. The school basically acts sort of like a mafia boss. I got your back. You see what I'm saying? It's kind of like you can rely on school, But actually, that's really bad for you. You're doing something you should not be doing. That's, your parents, anybody who cares about should be telling you, you know what? Sonny, what are you doing? Like, are you serious? Is this what you're doing right now? They need to let you know you should not be doing that, so you won't be doing it. So you won't go straight, so you will stay on track. You see what I'm saying? But as that's actually what school should be doing, but the school is doing the opposite. You see what I'm saying? Like if you love someone, you see them doing something they shouldn't be doing. First of all, you should tell them. Second, you should make sure they stop doing that, not the opposite, right? Mm-hmm. If I see you like a Noah, like do drugs, obviously I know you don't, but I'm just saying, right? If I care about you, as a friend, I should be Noah. What the fuck are you doing? You see what I'm saying? No, like a Noah. Good job. Keep going. Keep going. Right?
Basically saying that whatever things hard for you do, I support you. Oh wow, dude, you're so cool, dude. If you're doing drugs, you're probably gonna be the popular kid. You're probably gonna be like, wow, everybody will come to you and like keep doing what you're doing. I fully support you. That's crazy. Like, why would you do that to me? That's basically it's a sign of support, which is basically just indoctrination. Thinking that we got your back. Exactly what you said. Like mafia boss. Like whatever you do, whatever harm you do, it's okay. I got you. I got your back. Like why are they doing? That's indoctrination. Yeah. That's saying that whatever you do, we'll cover for you. It's like saying that you want something and your parents will buy for you. It's like the same thing. It's like, oh, you know that your parents will buy for you, so you could buy whatever you want. I give you the money, you have it, you could buy it. Let's say that I give you $600 and you say you want a PlayStation 5. Okay, I want the PlayStation 5. Your parents gave you $600. You will buy the PlayStation 5 because you want it, and because you know that your parents will give you the money and you do have the money. That's the same theory.
Yes. So the school basically is not doing its job. School is doing the opposite. Because you go to school, they should teach you right from wrong. Things you should be doing and things you shouldn't be doing. Right? So that's the very idea of going to school. Maybe there's a reason Elon Musk, all his kids, are homeschooled or are still being homeschooled, But clearly, the homeschool thing didn't sort of work out well for his son right now, daughter, Vivian.
Savior.
Yeah, Vivian. No, there's no Savior no more. There's Vivian. There's a Vivian, actually. So, I mean, I don't know, the son, the daughter. I don't know if the Vivian later will regret. Because the thing, though, is that, like going through sex alteration, like the procedure is such a major step in your life. Because it's irreversible. So, right, it's like, you're a boy, you want to become a girl, you basically do what you got to do, you become a girl. But later, say that you say, you know what, I think I prefer being a boy. You cannot change. You cannot, the procedure cannot be reversed. You cannot have another procedure, you go back to being a boy. No, you cannot. You're screwed, you're stuck, that's it. Actually, it has happened before. There was this one, actually, girl, I think that she thought that she was a boy because of laws like AB 1955. She went through the procedure, she cut her boobs off, she became a boy. But later she had this a huge regrets about doing that. But she cannot go back. So she ended up killing herself. So it was sad. You just don't see it like on the newspaper, everything, because they're brainwashed. They don't want stories like that to come out. So basically, that kid's life was ruined, literally and metaphorically, because there's no life now, but the life has ended.
Yeah. So I mean, the whole point is that first of all, it's irreversible, and it's the parents' responsibility to talk to the parents and then okay, if you really want this change without any regrets, I mean, yeah, I'm sure there's people who wouldn't regret. This is why. But then it's more of a problem that we should see is that people are encouraging them to do the procedure because, you do the procedure, you become yourself. But mostly people will regret because you can't switch back. let's say Elon Musk's son, or late son, Xavier, decided that, okay, I've been going by, I realized I should be a girl, and turns into Vivian. And Vivian will never, ever, possibly could turn back to Xavier. And right now it's that because the teenagers are too young, their brain isn't matured enough or thought about the long process, knowing that, wow, am I ever going to regret this? All they're going to care about, this is what I like right now, and I'm just going to do it. This is what leads to mistakes. But there are mistakes that can be fixed. There are mistakes that can never be fixed.
Yeah. So like in contract law, right, in California. So basically you have to be 18 years or older. You say you've signed a contract, right? Mm-hmm. So you have to be 18 years or older for the contract to be binding on you. For instance, like you're over 18, you sign a contract is binding on you. Because the law assumes that you're mature enough. But with you, Sunny, how old are you?
I was 16.
So you're 16. So you sign a contract. Later, you come back out of it. Even you sign a contract, but because you're 16, the law assumes that you're not mature enough to sign a contract. Say you sign a contract to buy a car. Do you drive?
Not yet.
Not yet. Say you later, at some point you will drive. You want to go buy a car. Say, you know what? You want to buy, you like that Ferrari, for instance, right? Right? You say, you sign a contract for $250,000 to buy that Ferrari. You saw the Ferrari, Ferrari, 458, the newer model, right? So, but later you realize, you know what am I doing? Fucking Ferrari is so expensive, like I don't need to be driving a Ferrari. A Toyota would do fine, right? You say, you know what? I'm not going to buy that Ferrari, although I know I signed a contract. But I changed my mind. Law allows you to do that because law assumes that you were not mature enough to sign a contract to buy a Ferrari, to buy a car, in essence. But you were mature enough to decide to become a girl.
Yeah.
What the fuck? So buying a Ferrari is actually, it's a reversible. The decision can be reversed, right? You buy a Ferrari, later you don't want the Ferrari, you can probably resell the Ferrari, but for less money. But with this, sex alteration procedure, it's irreversible. So you are not mature enough to make a reversible decision, but you're mature enough to make an irreversible decision. This whole law, this whole category of laws or procedures, they are nothing but a sheer stupidity. You think about it, right? They're reckless, they're dangerous, they're evil. They ruin people's lives. They kill people, literally.
I think this is why we should, as for any of you guys watching behind the TV, computer, your phone, it's really important for us to think about these problems. And think about it, whether you're a parent, you're a teenager like me and Sunny, or as anyone. Think about it. These problems are happening to us every single day. And this is why it's super important, and I show my entire support to Attorney David Liu as your California State Assembly District 49 as a Republican candidate. It's because he will hear your voices. As aforementioned in everything that we've been talking about, he will talk about all the problems, and he will bring this to his mind personally, because Attorney David Liu has a family to raise. He has a son. He wants everything he wants to do. He's working so hard, wanting his son to have a greater future. And knowing that as a family and us as a teenager, because we want to succeed, it's important to bring family back together. He will forget. He will never, ever, will never try to not do anything possible for his kids because he wants the best for his kid. This is why he will hear all of you guys' voices. And this is why I completely support and show my full endorsement to Attorney David Liu.
Thank you. And special thanks to Noah, special thanks to Sunny. Especially given the fact that Arcadia actually is in the district. Arcadia, San Marino, San Gabriel, Monterey Park, El Monte, North El Monte, Alhambra, Temple City. So basically the San Gabriel Valley area, 626. So here's the thing. you don't have to choose between left and right. You don't have to choose between, Democrat and Republican. All you have to choose is common sense and lack of common sense. As simple as that. You don't need to know anything about politics. People say, I don't know much about Democrats, Republicans, what they stand for, their ideas. No. Just stick to your common sense. That's it. That's all you have to do. Here's the thing. Do you want your kid, say when, your kid leaves the school in the morning as a boy, comes back as a girl? If you don't, who should be voting for? Right? As simple as that. So, November the 5th is the election day. It's also the judgment day. Because you will get to decide what kind of future you want your children to have. What kind of life you want your children to have. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, the attorney.